Hi, we've just finished a live webcast on Persuasion, and with us was Eric May, an Emmy Award-winning journalist. Eric, just to summarise some of the key points for those who missed the live broadcast, one of the things that struck me, miscommunication seems to be a big issue. Why does that happen?
Actually, Ian, even a better question would be, why doesn't it happen more often? Just understand how much miscommunication costs you in terms of lost business, lost partnerships, lost opportunities. You need to think a little bit about how communication actually works. For example, information is not communication. Information are things like sports scores, or what's in the newspaper every day, or what you had for breakfast, or the point is that information, all that stuff, we have a head for that, and we can cram that into our heads, but it really is useless in terms of communication. Communication is very different. Communication demands a result. Here's an example. Ian, could you hold that for me, please? Thank you. That's communication, all right? So what communication is about perception. It's about the audience, not about you. Okay. So the idea is if you want to communicate effectively, you've got to express your ideas in terms that audiences can understand.
So how do we do that? How do you go about improving that communication?
Well, that is very tricky, Ian, because if you know something, it's just human nature. It's very hard to imagine other people not knowing that. And that's where very highly technically skilled people run into problems. So one suggestion that I would make is to think about again, a very fundamental of communications concept called shared values. Right. Shared values are what we all share as human beings, things like hopes, dreams, fear of death, love, sex, food, religion, job, all these things. These are all shared values. But the key concept is that your target audiences, that can be the news media, that can be the general public, that can be your customers, that can be stakeholders, that can be your employees. Each of those groups has different sets of shared values. If you can identify those shared values and express your ideas in those terms, they'll understand you. They'll think, oh, he understands me, Ian understands me, she understands me. Okay. That's very resonant for audiences, and then you'll have a chance to at least get them to hear what you have to say.
Okay, I can see that absolutely. What about, though, and this is something people often come across, people who you just can't get to agree? What are your top tips for persuading people to agree with you?
Well, the first thing I would say is about persuasion is that there's no guarantee, ever. The best thing you can do is try to express your ideas clearly in a way that your target audience understands, and let them think for themselves. Take it or leave it, in other words. But to go beyond that, let's say if people are actively opposing you, who don't believe you, they don't want to listen, they just don't want to do it, okay. First of all, my answer, Ian, first of all, would be to just accept some people are just never going to agree. That's number one. But for the rest of the people, if anyone's saying to you, you don't know what you're talking about, remind them, actually, I do know what I'm talking about, okay? Give them your CV. I've done this, we've worked on this project, and these were the results. These are the people I've worked with. Be specific. If a skeptic is saying, well, this won't work, you say, actually, it worked here, and here's how it worked. When we tried it at this place, we got these results. The government regulation 2.3 says we must do. Specifics are very, very persuasive. And finally, to get skeptics to hear you at least, if you're reasonably self-assured, meaning that you believe in what you want to do. By the way, you have to believe in it. If you don't believe in it, no one else will believe you either. But if you believe in what you want to do, and you can use a little bit of humor in there, that combination of self-assurance and humor is very persuasive. But again, it's about being more humanistic, rather less authoritarian. Here's what we're going to do, but let's do this together. And the key is try to understand what's important to your audience and express your ideas in ways they understand.
That's great. Thanks very much, Eric.
You're welcome, Ian.
Thanks for watching, and if you've missed our live webcast today, we hope to see you at one of our subsequent broadcasts.